Gavin's head did betray him, and turned to look at what he knew was before him. He was back in the little house where his childhood had ended. He was in the house where the whole concept of being a child had become a curse. The man was in a tatty dressing gown that was far too short for him if he were to bend over and pick something up. The man had come rambling down the stairs and into the room. There was a little boy which sat on the floor watching the television in the little room with his sister. He was sitting with his knees bent so that his feet touched his bottom and his hands were placed on top of his knees. The palms had to be facing towards his chest. If the man was in a good mood, then his palms were allowed to face outwards with his fingers pointing towards his chest. It was very uncomfortable and gave him cramps, but that was how the man said he had to sit, as the little brown-haired boy would never defy the man, or he would be punished, and punishments were always severe. Sometimes the man would take off his belt and snap it before he dashed out a good hiding. Sometimes he would have to stand in front of a television and watch a quiz show. Every answer he got wrong earned him a strap of the belt or a hiding from the slipper. Gavin could remember the struggle that the boy was having in keeping his hands on top of his knees, and at the same time keeping the back of his feet touching his bottom while his legs were shaking with the effort. For that little boy was Gavin. He remembered the first time in many years what it was like to be that little boy. A life full of walking on eggshells and never knowing from one day to the next if he was going to be beaten for forgetting to do his chores, or whether the blame would be laid on his mum for Gavin's mistakes. While Gavin stood there watching, it seemed as if the little boy and his sister were not able to see him, as this was a memory of his own, replaying in the confines of his own mind, and he recalled somehow that this day wasn't a good day, as the man had brought the boy a new pair of pumps. As he remembered this, the vision in front of him changed, and he could see the little boy with the new pumps sitting on the desk in school, and he recalled how happy he was not to have to wear the wellies that he usually had to wear to school no matter what the weather. The new pumps were black, and they felt wonderful when he tried them on. They made him feel like he was one of the trendy kids because they weren't just black. They had an orange stripe which ran around the bottom of them that gave them that just little bit extra. He had been told to take them to school and use them for PE class. He was meant to wear his wellies the rest of the day, but 6-year-old Gavin decided he didn't want to do that. He remembered wearing his new pumps, proudly showing them off all day and hiding his wellies at the back of the classroom where all the coats had been hung. None of the other kids were wearing wellies and winter was over. Spring was here now and the wellies should have been resigned to the back of the closet until next year. But the man insisted he wear them, probably because it was cheaper than buying new shoes for the spring, or more likely, because he knew he would be ridiculed in school for wearing wellies and got a sick pleasure out of knowing the humiliation it caused Gavin.